Hi, and thank you for joining Hello 50 today. We are so excited to have Valerie Albertini with us.
Glad
And
to be here.
glad to have you. Valerie is the founder of Albertini International, which is this fabulous skincare company. And what makes it even extra fabulous for us, us ladies over 50, is a lot of her products are really geared toward women as we age. So we are so happy to have Valerie here to share with us just what in the heck is happening with our skin as we get older, and what are some of the things we can do to make it better. So Valerie, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. This is going to be just great. Our company really came about because of women our age. As we got a little older, we hit some of those menopause things going on, and that accompanied with the hormone changes really makes a big difference in our skin right at that point in our life.
Absolutely.
And I have a friend, her name's Paula, and she came to me one day. I was doing a facial on her, and she said, I am absolutely sure this wrinkle was not on my face yesterday.
That is so funny. I think we can all relate to that. We are all so busy. We're running around. We don't sometimes even have time to look in the mirror. And then one day we wake up, we look in the mirror and scream a little because we're wondering, what in the heck happened?
And that's exactly what I felt like.
Yeah.
My friends would complain about dry skin, and I really didn't have that. You have dry skin, don't you?
I do. I always have, and it's just gotten even more dry as I've gotten older. So yeah.
Well, and mine was always oily. So all of a sudden I hit menopause, or just kind of got to that 50-ish, 55 range, and mine changed drastically. I was like, what just happened to me? This is what everyone's complaining about.
Nobody's going to believe when they hear 55 range, Val. I'm just going to tell you that right up front.
Okay, well, we're even over that. But, it really starts at different times for different people, really based on your hormones and that, that ability to hold water in our skin. So we really need to just think about that as we get a little bit older.
Okay. And speaking of thinking about that, what are some regimens that we should be keeping as we get older with regards to our skin? What should we be doing on a regular basis?
Well, the main thing is to realize we need to change it.
Okay.
What we did at 35 is not what we need to be doing at 55 and 60. We really just have to realize that our skin is changing, and as it goes through those changes, we need to adapt to our skincare regime to go with that. But you know what, before we talk about products or anything like that, we're going to take a look at my favorite thing that explains what's happening to your skin.
Okay.
So this is what your skin looks like in a really simple way. It starts out as grapes, nice and fluffy and full of water down inside our skin. As it pushes up to the surface and it starts to exfoliate, it looks a little bit more like a raisin. And then what we see and feel every day is those cornflakes. Well, in this whole process, this grape used to push up off of our skin and become a cornflake and flake off. When we were 25, this happened in about a month.
Wow.
For those of us that are a little older now, this process takes about 40 to 60 days. So it's a complete change. So when we have any type of exfoliation done, whether it's a very light exfoliation or something more aggressive like dermabrasion, it helps get those cornflakes moving. And two things happen. The cornflakes get thicker, so our skin feels a little rougher, a little drier.
Okay.
And we're not making the grapes quite as quickly and pushing. The whole process gets a little sluggish.
It's beginning to make a lot of sense.
And so in this whole process, our body has something called a natural moisture factor. And that natural moisture factor, you'll see it even listed as NMF, holds water in our skin. It's very simple. But in here is where it holds that water in. We lose it. When we get into that 55 range, we start to lose our NMF. And what we need to do is try to put some of those things back in. So our skincare regime has to reflect that. This is happening on our face, but you can't forget our arms, our legs. How many people have dry legs?
Yeah.
And so that's the process.
Yeah. No, and that makes so much sense. It wasn't much for science in school, but that I can understand, especially with the grapes. It does make a lot of sense as to what's going on with our skin.
And that's why exfoliating works so well. I mean, when you have a cut, your body knows to make more skin cells there to help heal the cut. In a way, when you have some things done like dermabrasion or whatever kind of peels, your body thinks it's been injured, and so it starts making some new skin cells. and pushing the process along and getting all of that going. So we have to accommodate our skincare regime to realize this is what's happening to our skin.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. And when we think about what's happening to our skin, and you talked a little bit about a regimen, if you want to expand upon that a bit, as far as what we should be doing on a daily basis or monthly basis in order to maintain that.
Well, there's a couple key ingredients in your skin in here. One of them is hyaluronic acid. We hear about that in skincare products. The other one is vitamin B5 is part of this process, so that's also important. And something called sodium PCA. They're what make up that natural moisture factor.
Right.
So we want to do really, I would say two things are key and really important to taking care of our skin at this point. One of them is moisturizing, and it's not just on our face. Look for products that have some of those key ingredients in it, that hyaluronic acid, the B5 sodium PCA mix. Those are really key. You and I grew up on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I run the Jersey beaches. How about you?
There every week.
I know. We were out in the sun, probably had a little, what did we
baby
do?
Oil.
The baby oil and the iodine.
One of those silver things you put, just in case you weren't getting enough sun, you put those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 hours on Wildwood at the beach, but
yep.
So sunscreen is incredibly important. And now it's a lot easier to do. We have it. We make a product called Tint Plus. It's in our tinted moisturizer. It has color, 20 SPF, and a moisturizer. That's a good way to do it that's easy. Many moisturizers you'll find have an SPF in them. So definitely make sure you're putting that sunscreen on your face and that you're also moisturizing your body and your face with some of those key ingredients. And we'll talk about some specific products kind of as we go along in our series. Sure. But those are some, I would say if I had to pick two things to do every day, sunscreen your face and moisturize all over, because the texture of our skin changes not just on our face, it changes all over.
Okay, so those are our two big takeaways, ladies. Make sure we're using that sunscreen and moisturizing head to toe. Absolutely.
Definitely. And you mentioned about a daytime or nighttime. Our daytimes are frequently, our daytime moisturizers that we see are frequently lighter in weight, maybe have a little sunscreen. The ones in the evening usually are a little bit heavier, but we really need to just think about this process that happens with that loss of moisture in that upper part of the skin. And we want to get those grapes moving again.
Absolutely. Okay. And Valerie, you mentioned a series, and one of the good news is from today is that we are going to have a series with Valerie, and she'll continue to come back and talk with us not only about some of the amazing skincare products that are available, but just some of the other procedures that women may choose to do, and really think about some other options in addition to the products. What we would like to invite everyone to do is submit your questions to info@hello50.com if you have any questions that Valerie can answer either about some of the skincare products that are really helpful in order to ensure that we're having more of that grape look and the cornflakes look.
Absolutely. That's what we want.
Yeah. Or any of the upcoming talks that we're going to have, whether it's about Botox or fillers or hydrofacials, not all at one time, but we're going to have that in the course of a series going forward.
There's an awful lot of things that you can talk to your esthetician about if you go in and get a facial on a regular basis. And everybody's at different points with that. Some people are going to want to jump in and do some Botox and fillers. Other people like a nice regular regime. I just like to relax when I get a facial. I want a good treatment, but I really, for me, it's just part of my relaxation process. And as we get a little older, we need a little bit more of that.
Sure. And that probably helps your skin as well.
I'm sure it does. I'm really sure it does.
Okay.
You know, there's a quote, and I'm actually going to read this if you don't mind. It's from Coco Chanel. And when I think about us gradually getting older and our skin changing, she had a wonderful quote, and it says, "Nature gives you the face you have at 20. It's up to you to merit the face you have at 50.
Wow. That's a great quote.
And I just thought it was a great quote from Coco Chanel.
Yeah. And if
so please send us some questions in. We really want to make sure that the content that we're putting together is what you're looking for. But the questions really, really help. So make sure you shoot some of those into Mary Jo. I have a friend that's a nurse that does a lot of injectables. So I'm going to be talking to her a little bit and getting some input from her. And also I'm going to be showing you some different types of equipment like a hydrofacial or microdermabrasion, talking about different kinds of peels, things that most people have access to that are really, really make nice changes in your skin.
Valerie, I'm so excited about this series, and we
I
get to
am too.
work with
Thank you
you.
so much for having
Yeah,
us. It's
a
been
couple
fun.
Jersey girls meeting up by chance. Who would ever have thought, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, we look forward to your questions coming in again at info@hello50.com, and we'll get those questions answered next time, and we'll keep you informed as to when those next meetings will be. Thank you so
Great. Thank
much.
you so much, Mary Jo, for having me. It was fun.